Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I am so excited to be here. This really is my passion, and I have been doing this for a long time, and my passion just continues to grow because this is so powerful. And I'm excited to share my story and to share the information that I have been inspired to share today. And I really have learned to pray and ask, what is it? Because I have a lot of things I want to share. And I have my outline just to make sure we don't go over time, because my biggest issue is I want to share everything I know that I've learned over all of these years, because it's been such a blessing in my life. But there's specific things that I'm supposed to share today. So I am going to be looking at my notes, and we'll see if I can hold this microphone and handle all this at the same time. So again, thank you for being here. I'm excited to be in this amazing event center, and I'm so grateful for the Words for putting this on. I am grateful for their time and for their faith and for their willingness to do this for us. And as Jenny said, I promise you will get something that you need out of this class today, whether it's something that I say or something that just comes to you while you're here. So let me look at my notes. I'm going to start off with telling you a little bit about myself when I was a little girl. So when I was little, I was just happy all the time. I was excited. I was just always really, I was trying to motivate everybody else to be excited with me. I was kind of this motivator. I had a lot of energy. My mom tells me that I ran everywhere I went. Even if I was just going down the hall, I ran. And I really have that same thing. I find myself running from the kitchen to my room okay, slow down. I don't need to run, but I still do that as an almost 40-year-old woman. But my energy is urgent. It's urgency. I have things to do. And I felt that from the time I was little. But I was really excited about life and excited about everything that life had to offer until some really hard things happened. And it really put a damper on me. And now that I know what I know, I was carrying other people's stuff. And I'm sure all of you have felt that and have started to learn about that, even if it's just new for you today. But we can't, and some of us do it more than others, but I want to help people. And even from the time that I was really little, I found that I was carrying my parents' burdens big time. And friends and the world. And it made me a really sad little girl. And now that I'm a mother, it makes me sad for that little girl in me. It did make me sad, but I've been able to heal that and embrace it and know that it was good. And it was meant to be. It was for me to learn. And I'm grateful for my past. I'm grateful for all of the things that I went through, and it was a lot. And it was a lot of stuff that a lot of people wouldn't believe, things that happened in my home. And so I knew that from the time that I was little that I had some special gifts. I didn't understand them until later. But I would have dreams that were real. They were messages and they came true. And I was just oh, well, I didn't know that wasn't normal, And I could feel people's energy. I could feel bad. I could feel the bad energy of people, and I would want to stay away from any music that made me feel sad. I felt sad really easy, and I thought something was wrong with me. I just thought I had problems. And that's something that I said to myself way into my adulthood. I just have problems. Look at me, I am a mess, and I get sad easy and I get upset easy, and I just thought that it was because I had issues. So this healing journey has been so amazing for me, and it started after my first baby. So she's 17 now, and I went through some things at that tender young age of 20. I got married really young. I was 19 when I got married. And I got to learn a lot about myself and find out, to go to those deep, dark places, to be able to find what my purpose is and the best part about it is I've been able to share it with other people. So my journey was I got really sick physically. And I'm not going to go as much into my story today. I usually tell in detail my story, but there are some YouTube videos that you can find if you search Cynthia Sumner and hear more about my story. But I had some physical illnesses that made me very, very sick. And I had all the tests done that you can have done, and all the tests for all the really scary things, and they couldn't find anything wrong with me, which was a major blessing. I was really frustrated because I wanted answers. And this was when I just had a little baby. I just had one. I was really young. And my husband kept telling me, that's good. You don't want to get any bad news. But I wanted answers. So I went home and I prayed. And I just told Heavenly Father, I want to help me know. Like, I felt inside there was more for me. And that there was something really important for me. I didn't know what it was, but I could feel it. And what I was led to was how to empower the body. And the message that came was that my body is completely capable, and that every one of us is completely capable. And what I found over the years of working with hundreds of people and people across the country is it doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter your gender, it doesn't matter your body type, it doesn't matter what you've been through, what you haven't been through. We all have the power to heal, and we are born with that capability. In our very DNA, we have the answers of what we need personally, because it's different for everyone. It is different for everyone, but everyone is capable. Even if you are born with an issue, emotional or physical, you still can heal. I've seen it. I've experienced it. And so I promise you that whatever you have going on, that there is an answer, and there's a reason why you're going through it. It's to learn something. And that's what this life is all about, right? That's what I believe, is that we are here to experience things, learn from them, teach others, and fulfill your purpose. And we all have a different purpose. Okay, so I'm going to get back to my notes to make sure I stay on track. So when I was little, I went from very happy and energetic and excited. I mean, I had big, huge dreams of things. And then all these voices started coming into my head about, oh, that's not possible. And pretty soon it got to the point where I would have these huge, high expectations, and it wasn't as exciting as I thought it would be, or it would get ruined by hardships in the home. And so I decided, instead of setting myself up to have it not be what I wanted, I just decided to not be excited anymore. That's really sad, because this life is for us to find joy, and we can, even through our hardships. And so as we go through things and we grow stronger and our faith grows stronger and we learn, then we're able to stay at a place where we still can enjoy life while we work through the trials. Okay, so I want to talk about energy. Energy is like my platform. Energy is in everything. And when I first started healing during that sick time, the first thing that I changed was my food. That was the first thing that I was led to. And a little bit at a time, I started changing what I was putting in my body. And I knew without a doubt, I mean, to the deepest part of my heart and my spirit, this was the answer. I didn't know that it was going to lead me to all these other awesome, amazing, huge, never-ending place of learning. But this was a perfect place to start, because we all have to eat. Our body needs to be fueled, and our body is intimately and intricately connected with our spirit. So whatever you're eating is affecting how you feel. So I didn't know this yet, and as I started changing the way I was eating, I started this healing. So I'm going to go back to the energy. So has anyone in here read Feelings Buried Alive Never Die? Raise your hand if you have. Okay, awesome. Do you remember the part? I think this is from this book. In the beginning, they talk about a scientist who was atheist, and him and some other science buddies put together and created a machine that could measure energy and emotions. Is that the right book? Okay. And it was that was the first book that I read years ago when I was starting to first learn about energy and learn about healing and forgiving. And I just thought it was so amazing. That energy was so real. And so this machine is able to test and show what the energy is. So they went into a psych ward, I believe, and they measured, there were 2 different people that were dying. One had just lost her memory, and so that's why she was in this place, but she was really happy. And as she passed away, she praised God. And so this little gauge that was showing the energy was over on the positive side, like bouncing, like trying to go farther past what they could measure. And she was happy. And she even, if I remember right, she saw people spirits coming to get her to take when it was time for her to leave this experience on earth. And then on the other side, they measured a man who was angry and unforgiving and had, I'm sure, a really hard life. And it was measuring on the negative side, right? And it was doing the same thing, bouncing over there. And they were like, their emotions, like how can this be measured? So that's just how much our emotions affect our physical body. So I wanted to share that with you. And then I want to read this. You can tell I love this book. It's falling apart. N.W. Walker. Some of you have probably heard about him. Let me get to my page. He's talking about the power that flows through us. So the pineal gland in your brain is comparable to a radio antenna, receiving from the atmospheric environment the vital flow of cosmic energy acting like an electric current when it enters the body. Cosmic energy is that infinite, unfathomable power which permeates the entire universe, holding the planets in their course and operating right into the very core of every atom in your body. That's pretty powerful. So a real energy flowing around us. If you've visited my booth, or if you haven't yet, come visit it, and I have pictures of energy in food and energy in our body, real pictures that shows the real light that we can have around us. So there's this real energy that's flowing, and depending on what you're thinking and what you're eating will depend on the kind of light level you have in your body. And this is what I experienced, was as I healed my body and filled it with light, I was able to clear my heart and clear my mind. And so I'll never forget the moment, and those of you that have heard me speak before, you know, you've heard this story. I walked into the room, my little baby girl was sitting on the floor, and I stood there and realized I feel different than I've ever felt before. I feel like this cloud had lifted off of me, and I felt safe. So one of my biggest issues was I didn't feel safe here on earth. I didn't feel secure. It's almost like when you're falling down and there's nothing to grab onto. That's like a really scary feeling. No foundation under your feet. And it always felt like I was this close to falling apart. And at that time in my life, I had had a neat experience where I learned to choose to be positive. So I was a very optimistic person, and it was a wonderful change in my life, because before it was like worry, fear, negative. But I had learned to choose positive, but I still carried really dark, deep pain. And there was a smile, and people didn't know, not even my husband. So as I walked into the room and I realized I feel different, like I feel happy. And I feel like if something happened, I could handle it without feeling like everything is over. You know, usually one little thing goes wrong and everything is wrong. So from that moment, from head to toe, I was like, I have to tell everybody about this. Like, how can I not tell people about this? It totally changed my life. I'm a different mother. I get to watch, and we have the same struggles in our family, but I have a 17-year-old, almost 15-year-old, a 12-year-old, and an 8-year-old, and I get to bless them with what I wish I would have had. It has changed my life so that I'm not a depressed mother that can't get out of bed because I was, you know, that's the place that it goes when you start going that way. And I had a choice to make, and I didn't want to be that kind of wife or mother, and I wanted to be able to fulfill my purpose. So, in a scriptural book called Doctrine and Covenants, for those of you that aren't familiar with it, there is, in section 131, verses 7 and 8, I want to share with you about how even our spirit is made of matter, energy. And it says, there is no such thing as immaterial matter. All spirit is matter, but it is more fine or pure and can only be discerned by pure eyes. We cannot see it, but when our bodies are purified, we shall see that it is all matter. It's a real, tangible thing. So whatever we do, how we move our body, whether we forgive or we don't forgive, what we're eating, all of it is creating this energy that supports us in some certain way or doesn't support us. And it's very, very real. And it's powerful when we harness that and use it to help us. So that's what I was able to do, was to clear my vessel, which cleared my heart and my mind. And then I was able to see the world in a whole different way. So all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, I see the good in me. And I'd gone all those years and I didn't. Somebody would ask me, what is your talent? And I was like, I don't have any. And I had a really low self-esteem. I didn't see my worth. And to me, that's what the adversary does to us, is he gets us right at our worth. He doesn't want us to be able to see what our worth is or what our purpose is. So he uses all forms of bondage, and one of the biggest things that he uses is food. Because we all have to eat. It seems really innocent, and a lot of bad food is socially acceptable. So just remember, just because it's socially acceptable doesn't mean it's beneficial. But you don't have to change everything overnight, so don't let me scare you. Okay, so I want you to think. Okay, first of all, I want to show you this orange. I wanted to bring a big orange, but I forgot it. Can you all see this? See how beautiful the orange color is? So what's in this orange? Just call it out. What's in it? What makes up this orange? Orange juice, water, fiber, vitamin C, right? What's that? Energy. Yes. And for those of you that have been studying color and auras, you know that actually means something. You want to surround yourself with orange when you need it. Okay, so I want you to really, so we talk about it, we talk about what's in it, but let's really stop and think on a deeper level about it. Because we kind of just take it for granted. Yeah, there's nutrients in it, it's good for us. But these nutrients are gifts of the earth. They're from God. They're from our higher power. They're growing in the earth. This earth is here to support us. And for us to be able to be in an environment where we're safe and we're happy and we're taken care of. And the closer we get to earth, the quicker we'll be able to heal. And so if you think about these vitamins and minerals, phytochemicals that are in an orange. So if you will just, with me for a few seconds, really think about it like, this is powerful because it also communicates with our spirit, not just our body. And so let us be a little more careful what we put in our body and to be more grateful for it and to bless it. That's why a lot of us pray and bless the food. But then we get into this habit where we're like, yeah, bless the food, thank you for the food, But slow down and really picture it being blessed and purified, and then really be more grateful for it. And think about those vitamins and minerals that are so powerful and they can heal us. And the more faith we have, the faster we can heal. Okay, I also want you to think about the nature. Nature outside is so healing. There's vibrations out there that can communicate perfectly with us for what we need. So how many in here have had a day or a morning where you're just feeling overwhelmed, maybe really hard things are going on in your life, and then you decide to go outside and go for a walk or go for a run, and then all of a sudden when you get back you're like, I don't know why I was so stressed out. It actually isn't that bad. Has that ever happened to anybody? Raise your hand if that's happened to you. Yeah, that happens to me a lot, even with all the things I've learned. And I just have to tell myself, you're going to feel better after your run. And it all just kind of falls into place. So going outside, moving your body, that is very healing. So what I want you to do, I'm going to turn some music on. And Jenny, can I ask for your help? Has everyone in here used essential oils? You know how powerful this is. I was going to bring some bottles, but if you go like really fast and give everybody a little teeny drip. Yep. And just smell this wild orange, because our senses can be very healing as well. It goes straight to our brain and it can lift us. And it is so more powerful than we realize. So I'm sure you've all experienced where you smell something and it reminds you of something when you were 10 or 15 or something. It can bring you right back there. This is how powerful it is. So I want you to smell this, and until you get your little drop, I want you to close your eyes. I'm going to turn some music on, because music is extremely powerful. We're going to do a combination where when you leave here, you're going to be like, I feel amazing. Really listen to the music and appreciate it, and know that the music, depending on what music you choose, has vibrations as well. So there are healing energy flowing through you when you listen to certain music. So I teach yoga. And I know I was led to it. I was called to it. I really didn't choose it. It chose me, but I'm so grateful. I get to teach, but I know it's so that I can stay balanced. And when you listen to music and you meditate and you move your body, and when you're using essential oils, even if you do it for 10 minutes, it can just totally change your life. So let's see if I can get this music to work. So close your eyes. Let yourself really focus on the smell and the sound, and picture yourself. I'll tell you, I picture myself on a beach. So you can picture yourself on a beach, maybe up in the mountains, surrounded by trees and a waterfall, or whatever is beautiful and peaceful to you. I want you to really think about it and picture it. I can smell that orange already. It smells so good. Let's see. Okay. In a minute, I'm going to have you stand up, so get ready. But right now, just stay in your seat and be comfortable. Close your eyes. Can somebody in the back turn the lights off just for a second? Oh, that's perfect. Take a couple of deep breaths and just take a moment to be still. When you're being still, an actual chemical is released in your body, a healing chemical. Really take note of any thoughts that might come to you, because this is a time where you can receive things that you need in your life right now. Thoughts or direction, or even just a time where you actually can let go and forgive. Take another deep breath. And if you feel emotion coming, let yourself feel it. A lot of times we're afraid of it, but that's where the true healing comes. I'm going to have everybody stand up. We're not going to do anything crazy. We're just going to do a few stretches. So if you'll stand up and reach as tall as you can. So what this does is this really gets things moving so that you can let go of negative energy, even toxins, stagnant energy. So you don't have to do anything super yoga style, just stretch. And it also helps open up your capacity so that you can handle more, even if nothing changes. Take a deep breath in and lean to the right. Reach as tall as you can while you lean. And exhale as you lean over. And inhale, reach back up. Inhale, deep, deep breath. And exhale to the other side. Reach straight back up. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, come down to your toes. Just lean over wherever you feel comfortable. Feel a stretch in your back. We hold a lot of stress in the back of our legs. It's really good for you to have the blood flowing to the top of your head. Take a deep breath in and slowly roll up. And go ahead and sit down and close your eyes. With your eyes closed, we're going to take one more deep breath in. We should hear everybody breathe out. Awesome. Can we have somebody get the lights? That was literally like maybe 2 minutes. Does everybody feel better? Would anybody be willing to share how they feel right now? Raise your hand if you're willing to share. Will you come up?
I just feel, and I'm not a big yoga person because I don't have flexibility, but I love how it just centers you. Like it just, I feel lighter. I feel like just in a more calm state.
Awesome. Thank you. I love it. And just so you know, you do not have to be flexible to do yoga. I have a lot of people say that. I'm like, no, just come. You just stretch wherever you can. It doesn't matter. So awesome. Thank you for sharing that a little bit at a time. So isn't it amazing just to take a minute or two and how it can actually change you? So you can set a foundation for your day and create what you want. So it's really important as you take those few minutes to be still that you decide what your day is going to be like. Or if you're in the middle of the day and you're like, okay, I just need to take a few breaths and just get recentered and start over. So let's say you decided you wanted to eat healthy that day and maybe you ended up not, and so you're frustrated with yourself. Hey, we're always in a constant state of renewal. It's a new second, a new minute, a new day, a new month, a new year. So if you focus on the constant state of renewal, you can have a really joyful, happy life instead of feeling guilt. We don't want to feel guilt. It's a low vibrating energy. We're going to talk a little bit about what negative energy does for us. Okay, has anyone in here read the book Visions of Glory? In there, it talks about, and I love reading out-of-body experiences. I love learning about the spiritual side of things and the energetic side of things. And so this is an experience that I've seen in all the different books that I've read. But this one talks about how there was a man who was viewing images that were not supporting a healthy person. And as that action was going on, the energetic sill, you can call it, or we call it all sorts of different things, but our aura or our chakras or whatever that keeps that energy around us to keep us safe actually ripped. And then here comes the negative influences. So as I prayed about what I was supposed to teach, I knew without a doubt I was supposed to teach about this. So if any of you are like, this is a lot, just open your heart and mind and just learn what you're ready to learn. But this is what I was supposed to share. Because what's going on is there's so much of the negative influence in the world that we are being hurt in a really big way, and we don't realize it. It's from these other, what I call bad spirits, negative influences. I feel like they're real spirits around us. And they can influence us when we're weak. So what makes us weak? It can be being intoxicated because you lose that free agency that you have, and then the negative influence can come and even come inside of us or be around us enough that it really influences us in a way that is hurting us, and we make decisions that hurt our life and our family. And so anything that is negative can cause rips or tears or weaknesses in the protection around us or the energy field around us. So as we talk about energy, think about this. When I was reading that part with this man where he actually had a rip in his aura or in his energy or his protection, it was confirmed to me straight away that when we eat bad food, the same things happen to us where it weakens us. And it is Satan, or whatever title you use, his greatest tool, because it seems so innocent. So in the book, Outwitting the Devil, it's a conversation with the devil, and it's where the author asks questions like, I want to know exactly what you do so I can overpower you. Like, what are your tools? What are your tricks? And one of the main things that Satan, or the devil, talks about in there is he's almost laughing. He's pretty much laughing. He's like, it's so easy. I make things smell good. I make things look good. It's bad for them, and it puts them in bondage. And they're addicted to it, and it hurts their spirit, and it hurts their body. When your body is in pain, then it weakens your spirit. And when we're not harnessing that natural man in us, so the natural man is always striving to be comfortable. So it wants to stay in bed in the morning and not exercise. It wants to eat whatever food it feels like, whether it's good for us or not, right? So when we're allowing ourselves to eat whatever we want, whether it's good for us or not, then who's winning, our spirit or the natural man? The natural man. So our spirit is what's striving to move us forward in our purpose here on earth. The natural man is to be comfortable. So what I find with the clients that I work with over and over again is they come halfway through my program and they're very emotional. And they share with me these amazing stories that as they learn to harness that, to choose something that's good for them, even though they're tempted to eat something else, that as they get good at it and they practice, they're going to fail, and then they're going to try again, they fail, and they try again. And as they get good at it and they're feeding their body more, and they're actually feeling like they have a handle on it, and they realize that they are managing the other parts of their life as well. So one particular story, a woman that came in, and if you want to see, I have her before and after picture on my table at my booth. She's now a certified coach of mine and helping change so many lives. But what she found was as she was releasing weight and getting off medication that was hurting her, she was wanting to get off of it and empower her body. And she was crying, and she said, I'm not yelling at my kids. And I actually look in the mirror and realize I'm amazing. And I am not looking at nitpicking my husband. And naming all of these things in her life that she was actually harnessing as well. And so it affected her whole entire life. But it has to start with you. And so food is a perfect way to start. There's a lot of different ways to start, but the root of it all is our emotions. And the cool thing about putting good food in our body is it gives us power to look at those emotions that were too hard to deal with. And a lot of times we have things suppressed that we didn't even realize were a problem or were there. So listen to the messages that your body is giving you. It's there to help you. And something that I have also found that I did myself and those that I work with is we're mad at our body. We're so frustrated with our bloated belly or the pain that we're having or whatever's going on. And really our body's doing everything to take care of us. It's constantly working to regenerate and heal us and help us to be vibrant. And so make sure you're thinking positive thoughts about your body and give your body what it needs the best you can, a little bit at a time. You don't have to change overnight. Okay, I need to check the time, make sure I share the rest of what I wanted to share. Okay. So, Tamara Lang is one of my good friends. She has a booth out here, and a lot of you have probably met her or seen her booth. In her book, I want to share with you, she shares some quotes from leaders that I want to share with you, just to talk about this negative influence that's hurting us more than we think. And a lot of the thoughts that are going on aren't even ours, but we think they are. But it's coming from an outside source. If we understand the reality of the light of Christ in everyone we see and within ourselves, and we understand the great challenge that we have, the surroundings in which we live, the danger which sometimes besets us, we will have courage. So this is talking about what we can do against these demons that are out there, negative influences. So a large percent of Jesus' healings involved the casting out of devils. When engaged in a healing mission, one must be ready to address all aspects of disease. Some sicknesses are evil influence. Psychiatrists tend to disbelieve, but their paradigm is incomplete. Jesus deals with devils as real personalities, talking with them and ordering them out. It is one of Satan's cleverest tricks to influence us not to believe in him nor his army. So right here I want to insert that we also are surrounded by angels, powerful, uplifting angels, and usually they're relatives of ours, what I believe, people that love us. So we are also surrounded, so depending on what we are focusing on, we can call on those angels, and we also can keep ourselves safe from that negative influence by raising our vibration. And we do that through life food, through being still and listening to uplifting, beautiful music, by moving our body, by forgiving, by serving others, by going out in the sunshine, breathing in fresh oxygen out in nature. That's how you raise your vibration, and you are creating a literal armor around you, a real energetic force. So being really aware and proactive on protecting yourself. So the power of our mind can put up this energy field as well. So we have all these physical ways that we can support ourselves, and then we also have the power of prayer and the power of our thought. Has anyone heard the book, The Happiness Factor? In there it talks about how there was a study done, and there are these 10 volunteers, and I can't remember if it was the doctor or the person that was doing the test, said, okay, I'm going to rub some poison ivy on your arm. And it wasn't poison ivy. It was a safe leaf. And they broke out in a rash. 8 out of 10 of them. And it wasn't poison ivy. And then they took poison ivy and said, this is just, a regular safe leaf. And rubbed it on them and no reaction. So you need to recognize, that's for a whole nother class, the power of the mind. But here it's so important to know that what we're focusing on is what we're going to attract. And our body listens to that. So our body is giving us messages on what we need to be working on the inside. Okay, let me see if I'm missing anything before I move on. I want to go back to sharing a couple of things about the negative influences that we need to be aware of. This is my biggest message that I feel like I was supposed to share. And then how we can protect ourselves. Okay, so this is another experience, an out-of-body experience of where it got to a point where a person's energy was weak enough that, what do they call it? A bad spirit, a negative spirit entered. So the bright cocoon around the unconscious sailor simply opened up. It parted the very crown of his head. He was drunk. And that's why he had lost his ability to protect himself. It parted the very crown of his head and began peeling away from his head and his shoulders. Instantly, quicker than I'd ever seen anyone move, one of the insubstantial beings, is the word that they used, who had been standing near him at the bar, was on top of him. He had been hovering like a thirsty shadow at the sailor's side, greedily following every swallow. In the next instant, the springing figure had vanished. When you hear that, that's like, whoa, we got to watch what we're thinking, what we're saying, what we're doing, so that we can protect ourselves. In a scriptural book called the Book of Mormon, in 3 Nephi chapter 7, verse 19, it says, "And in the name of Jesus did he cast out devils and unclean spirits." So it shows us right in our scriptural words that this is going on, and it's a real influence out there, and that a lot of the elements and things that we're dealing with emotionally and physically are from the influence of them, and that we can call on angels and positive vibrations to protect ourselves so that we can feel happy, so that we can fulfill our purpose, so we can find energy, so that we can heal physically, and this is totally possible. I get to see it every day with the people I work with, and it's so awesome. So Tamara Lang in her book said, "We live in an ocean of universal subtle light. We emanate nearly invisible light. Our minds are quickened by divine light." So about a year ago, I was out early in the morning, and I was able to watch the sunrise. And I'd seen the sunrise a lot, many times. But this was just a really special, different experience. And as the sun rose, my heart was just brimful. It felt like it was going to burst. And I was able to watch the light slowly touch every building, every car, every tree that was in my view. And I could just feel this power of our Savior Jesus Christ. And how it's always there shining on us. And a lot of times we're so burdened with the pain in our body, or the pain in our mind or our heart, or focusing on other things, we're sidetracked, that we don't feel that power. So the light of Christ can fill every cell, can fill our heart and our mind, and can heal us, and can be with us for the day. And so that is where the true power comes from. The light of Christ is in our food. It's in the sunshine. It's in oxygen. It can be in our thoughts. It can be in our heart. It can be in everything that we do. And through that, we're able to be more than we ever could have been on our own. Ever. That lifts us to fulfill our potential. And it's so exciting and it's so amazing. So, to close, I want to share this very personal experience that I wasn't going to share. It's very, very tender to my heart. So through all of my healing, a little bit at a time, I've come to a point where I eat almost perfect. It wasn't always that way, and I still have days that aren't good. But for the most part, I eat perfect. And I meditate, and I pray, and I read scriptures, and I journal, and this is what I teach. And a few months ago, I had an experience where I got really sick. And I ended up with a kidney infection. And so interesting, I hadn't been eating anything that would cause a kidney infection, and food can cause that. But there's so many different variables about what affects us, and it's different for everyone. Well, I had some emotional things that I needed to heal that brought me to. So I was so sick in bed and had all these things I needed to do, and I was totally stressed out, majorly stressed out. I wasn't using my own advice on some things. And there were physical things. I wasn't drinking enough water, and I wasn't doing some of the things I needed to do to take care of myself because I was taking care of everybody else. But one of the biggest things that have plagued me since I've been married and had children was I never thought I was a good enough mother. And it was heavy. This was really, really important to me. And it was really painful. I have always read with my kids at night. I listen when they talk to me because that's important to me, to look them in the eye. I run them here, I run them there, I make them food, they need me, I drive over there, bring them whatever they need at school that they forgot. And I was doing all of these things, but I would lay by each of them at night. I would take an hour, listen, talk to them, tickle their back, sing them a song. Even my older kids still want me to sing them a song. But whatever mistake I did make that day, that's what I went to bed with. So I'm not a good mom. So somebody said something to me when I was a teenager that I wasn't going to be a good mom, and that affected me in a way that I didn't know. I created a belief. So just think about whatever it is that maybe you're struggling with, because it's different for everybody, that there is an emotion at the root of every physical issue and emotional issue. It's something you need to process. And we can lean on the Savior to heal that, but we have to do our part because faith without works is dead. So there's things we need to process, and we get to learn things as we process them. So we can surround ourselves with all of these things to support us But if we don't go to the deeper root, then we won't be able to heal, or we won't be able to stay in that healed state permanently. So as I prayed, okay, well, what do I need to do? Like a longer juice cleanse? Like, what else can I do? What is it that I need to learn from this? And the feeling was, you need to meditate longer. You're meditating to check it off your list, and that's not helping you. And so the feeling was, you need to meditate for like a half hour to an hour. And that to me is like, I do not have time for that. Do you know all the things I need to do? And the feeling was, you need to take time for yourself and figure out what this is. And so after all my kids went to bed, I stayed in my pajamas. I turned some music on. I sat in my, and I just stayed there, and I kind of swayed, and I did some stretches, and I just let myself just know this is what I'm supposed to do right now. And as I sat there, I felt this feeling of my Heavenly Mother. And I realized I had felt abandoned by my Heavenly Mother because we don't really talk about a Heavenly Mother very much, and that's because she's so sacred. And I hadn't been abandoned, but I was overcome with this most beautiful, powerful, it's hard to even put words to it because it was such an amazing experience. Safe, loving, accepted, all of those feelings that make you feel warm. And I just felt like, oh, this is the love I'm feeling from my Heavenly Mother. And straight away she said, no, this is the love you give to your children. So that was the greatest gift that I could have been given. I needed to know, and that opened up for me to realize how powerful I am in the other places in my life that I didn't realize that I was capable. And you are too. So whatever that is to you that you feel like you need to process and heal and become your greater self. And it's baby steps, and we do need to make sure that we are protecting and honoring this vessel that we've been given, that we get to use to have an experience on this earth. And too often we take it for granted, or we're mad at it, or whatever, but it's our body and our spirit that gives us our soul, right? So if you will just take a moment to think about what's something I can change today to move in that direction. One of the worst things you can do is feel like you have to change everything overnight, because you're just setting yourself up to fail. And so think about what you can introduce into your diet that is healthy, that you can eat more of. Drink more water, even if that's the only thing that you do. Take 2 minutes before you get up for your regular day and just be still. And I highly recommend using music and essential oils, and make sure you're in a place where you don't get interrupted. Sometimes I have to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to get that peace. And it's worth the sacrifice. So just think what you can do to incorporate more so that you can raise your vibration and strengthen your around you, so that you have an armor around you. So you take a deep breath in and just take whatever you're stressed out about and just let it go. And then fill that space with strength and high vibrating energy. And as you get in touch with what you need and what you need to emotionally process, it's easier to make those healthy choices. It's easier to get yourself out of bed and go for a walk, or go exercise and get your body moving. It's easier to make a better choice on what you're going to put in your body. It's easier to forgive. It's easier to serve other people, and it's easier to accept yourself and to let that light of Christ heal you and support you. So I want to testify that my Savior Jesus Christ lives, and that He knows every single one of you, and that His healing power is shining down on every single one of you, just like I saw when the sun came up and I saw it shine across everything that I could see. And when you open up to it, it can heal anything that you need healed, anything, addiction, anger, releasing weight, healing pain, arthritis, diabetes, all of those things, you can empower your body so that it can do the healing, and be patient with yourself and know that it's a process, but that you're completely capable and you're surrounded by everything that you need to be able to heal. So I want to invite you to come to my booth. I have some amazing, delicious treats that are good for you, so come get one. And I also have some free information that I'll send to you that can get you started. And I'm also selling my recipe book that has tons of amazing, yummy food that supports your body and tastes good. That's the most awesome combination. So I invite you to come over, and I also have a home study course that I'm offering at an amazing deal for you to get going today. So thank you so much for being here, and I honor you. And just move forward. Do the best that you can. And yes, question? It is over here in the room this way, and it's just the first table right when you go into the right. So thank you for being here. Have a good day, you guys.